You know, the other day I read an article that said if you take a pack of sugar and you crumple it up tight enough into a little ball and then drop it through your fist, it will change. Wait a minute. If you drop it through your fist, it will actually change to an equivalent substance. And there it is. It's equal. To learn the secret to this and other magic tricks in this series, go to EndoRootCamp.com. How many endodontists does it take to change a light bulb? Just one, but it usually takes 2 visits. So what we want to do is find out why we're doing multiple visit treatment. Suppose I was your physician and you had an appendectomy that needed to be done. And I told you it was going to take 3 visits. And on the first visit, all I would do is clean it out a little bit and measure the appendix. And then I would put some calcium hydroxide in there, and I'd bring you back on the second visit where I could get more time. I could thoroughly clean the canal, I mean the appendix, and then I would put some more calcium hydroxide and bring you back on a third visit, remove the appendix, and suture you up. How many people think that's a good idea? We had 2 hands. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good idea to me. Okay, it's late in the day. So we don't do multiple visit root canals in our office because it's a surgical procedure. Now, should you charge less if you do it quicker and only in 1 visit? Do these guys charge you less to get it there absolutely positively overnight? No, they charge more. Should you charge more? No, yeah, I don't think so. But just because you've gotten better at something and you're able to do it more efficiently, I don't think you should reduce your fees. I have never seen one study anywhere that says there is an advantage in multiple visit endodontics because you sterilize the canal and get a higher success rate if you put some magic calcium hydroxide in the canal 2 visits instead of 1. Anybody familiar with a study that shows that to be true? But why do we keep doing this? Why do we keep doing multiple visits when single visit works so well? Patients have fewer flare-ups, they have fewer problems, they like it better because they only have to come in 1 time. Why do we keep doing that? Interesting. Here's a study that shows just the exact opposite. It says that if you do a root canal in 1 visit, according to this one in the middle here, your success rate is actually higher. The real reason I think most of us, the people that are doing it multiple visits, they got stuck in this culturing thing years ago. And if you do a single visit root canal, you have to admit you're not culturing. Now, culturing was a joke, but there are still people that do it. And when I was in school, we had to get the 2 negative cultures we talked about. And not only that, we were culturing, looking for anaerobic bacteria using an aerobic culture technique. How smart was that? How many people can even remember which tooth you treated 2 weeks ago, much less what the intricacies of the canals are? So when's the best time to do it? Right after you prepare the canal, you know that little curve, you know exactly what it takes to get into those areas. That's the time to seal the root canal. When would you not do it in 1 visit? I only have 2 reasons. 1, lack of time. And if it's a lack of time, in just a few minutes I'll show you how to get the patient comfortable, numb, out of pain, and out of your office in 5 minutes. And they'll be comfortable. So lack of time won't be a problem. Or if you can't get the canal dry. What about periapical lesions? Will we do those in multiple visits? Even if it's a large radiolucency, we go ahead, fill the canals, and guess what happens in 6 months or less? They heal. Virtually every time. Uneventfully. Here's another example. All this area is inflamed. Do the root canal. 3 to 4 months later, most of that overfill is beginning to resorb, and eventually most of it will go away. What about a flare-up? What if you do a 1-visit root canal and then they have a flare-up? Isn't that a terrible, horrible thing to do? You know, I would rather, if a patient's going to have a flare-up, have it occur after I know I've completed the case rather than in the middle of the treatment. If it's halfway between the treatment, I don't know if I missed a canal or if there's some debris left in the canal or what's causing the flare-up. But if I know I'm done, I know that I probably just pushed some debris out the end of the tooth. They had a little reaction, and they're all done. By the way, Vince gave you a great quote on further treatment, never do retreatment. I'm going to tell you that the patient never has a flare-up. They always have a reaction. A reaction is not your fault. They may have a reaction to the fact that you pushed a bunch of debris out the end of the tooth, but it's still a reaction, and it doesn't sound like it's something you did wrong. Well, on this flare-up thing, what if you had two patients? One of them had the root canal finished, one of them did not, and they were both on a cruise ship, and they were crashed on a deserted island. And then they both had a flare-up. One was finished, one was not. What would happen? The one whose case was completed would probably ultimately drain and heal on its own because the source of the problem was removed. The person who you hadn't finished the root canal would probably never get well. They might ultimately wind up sloughing the tooth out. So we go ahead and do it in one visit. Incidentally, if you have any questions or you have any products or ideas that you think we should be featuring on the Root Tip of the Week, please email me at kit.weathers@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks. Well, that's it for another Root Tip of the Week. I'm Dr. Kit Weathers, inviting you to register at EndoRootCamp.com for free videos and special reports you can't get anywhere else. Meanwhile, I will see you at our next Endo Root Camp.